I'd probably want to draft Bo Nix or Michael Penix, and both have enough college starts they're ready to play.
Okay, so what does it say that he's had this in his draft for months in regard to the Broncos? If they knew this deal was happening.
Sean Payton's looked at the video of both.
Okay, and
his take is it would be a reach by Denver at 12 to get Bo Nix or Penix.
Okay.
If we can move back to 18-19, a spot ahead of the Rams, because people are concerned the Rams are going to take one of those guys because of Stafford's age. So if we can move down 6 or 7 spots, get additional picks, which we need in the division with Harbaugh, Reed, Herbert, Mahomes, and get them, great. If we move back, it tells me Denver's moving back in the draft, not up.
Well, they also moved up with that late round pick. They go up like 50 picks.
I think Denver now is moving back. That's what it signals. And not a ton, 5 spots. Get another second or third round pick. Hopefully land a Bo Nix or a Penix. I got to tell you something. It would not shock me if Denver moved back, got picks, and they've made their mind up. I think the Tulane kid is the player. Tulane kid, Michael Pratt, has a lot of Brock Purdy. Won a lot of games, highly productive, same program. I mean, again,
wait a minute.
He may see no gap between Bo Nix and Pratt. He may be it's inches. Yeah. He sees a gap between Jaden and Caleb or Drake and Bo Nix. But Denver needs players.
Hold on. Sam Hartman put up massive numbers at Wake, went to Notre Dame, stats. Come on, if you're going by that.
Pratt's a better prospect than Hartman.
Clearly, everybody likes Pratt more. I just don't see why.
I think my Ken O'Brien comp may rock the world.
80% of our audience has no clue who that is.
That's what I saw him play. I thought Ken O'Brien, that's what he reminds me of.
So Zach Wilson heads west, back to maybe more comfortable surroundings.
Denver
out of the
moves
media.
back in the draft, gets more picks, and has their eye on Rattler or Michael Pratt. Now, remember, Rattler was the #1 high school quarterback in the country. He's a little loose for me. He's a little Drew Lock, Jay Cutler for me, but he's got talent.
I was bullish on him going to South Carolina, and did you see what happened there? Like nothing.
It's again, Rattler. You know how I am.
He beat out Caleb Williams.
And then he didn't.
Well, he was supposed to be the next Heisman winner. Remember Rattler?
It's not who starts the season, it's who finishes.
I don't even know if he's
Rattler is a little Drew Lock, Jay Cutler, a little loose for my taste. Little loose.
He's a little Zach Wilson for my taste.
So, okay, here's my big guess. Denver goes back. Not a ton, but they go back 5 or 6 spots now because of this move. I still think they want a quarterback, but it's telling you that Sean Payton has looked at it. Sean's like, guys, we can't afford to move up for the top 3. I guarantee you, Sean knows that Nix is 4 or 5. And his take is, I'm not taking the 5th best quarterback at 12. I'll take him at 18 and get a 3rd-round pick.
18.
Then the value proposition changes. But I bet you Sean Payton is looking at that Tulane kid because the Tulane kid's a lot like Bo Nix. You draw it up, he makes the throws, he sits in the pocket, he's got some Brock Purdy. Stayed there, a lot of starts, grown up, dealt with some personal stuff. This kid's an adult.
How about this? I know you want to lock up the 5th year, right, for the quarterback by getting him in the 1st round. Would they trade back to, say, Kansas City's spot? I know in the division. Would Kansas City move up saying, Rashee Rice, he could get a full season. We need to go get a receiver.
Yeah, but there's a huge drop-off between Neighbors, Adunze, and Harrison and the 4th receiver.
We got Brian Thomas at LSU. No? Okay.
When you're not the best receiver in your college team, you're not going to be Randy Moss. I'm not moving up 8 spots for a guy who's the 2nd best receiver in college. Think about how good Ohio State's receiving recruiting has been for 5 years with Brian Hartline. Right now, Ohio State gets the best receivers in the country. Harrison is significantly better than their number 2. And their number 2s are going in the 1st round. Yeah. So you're telling me this Brian Thomas guy, well, he's not nearly Neighbors. Okay, I can wait.
All right, they're kind of going off topic here. So, okay, I'm a little somewhat confused. So if you can help me out here, please, by all means, let me know in the comments. But if the Broncos were trading back, which I'm not saying they aren't. I have zero idea. I will never try to predict what a team is going to do in the draft. That is fool's goal. That is a fool's errand. But if that's what they wanted to do, why get Zach Wilson? Especially if they were going to, draft a quarterback, later as like a, essentially what he's saying is like it's like a prop bet where like, for a value, there's certain bets that aren't great bets, but in a way they're worth it. That's actually how you play poker. A lot of people think that you like try to read the other person, or it's like you have the best cards or this, that. What it actually is it's a big foundational part is pot odds. Meaning, let's say you have a decent hand and you know that you have, say, 5 cards that could be drawn up that would be dealt, that would make you win the pot. And now it costs you, say, $50 to call, right? If you have pot odds, if the amount of odds that you have relative to how much money is in the pot, you either make that call or not. Because mathematically, if you make the right statistical call more often than you don't, then over the long term, you will be profitable, right? And that's what you want to be in poker. It's a little bit different when you're playing like tournaments, like the World Series of Poker, but especially for cash games, that is what you do. That it's actually a lot more mathematical than people realize. And so in a way, this is what he's claiming Sean Payton is going to do, where he's just like, listen, I'm willing to use a draft pick for a player, for a quarterback here, not at this spot, but it's a good value bet back here. If you know that there's a chance to win the jackpot and all you do is have to bet $1, it's like, sure, I'll throw $1 in there. Why not? I mean, yes, I know there's not a great chance, but sure. But now if you have to put in $5, $10, $15, you're like, well, dude, the chances of me winning are so slim to none. And you know what? I'm willing to give $1, but I'm not giving you $50. I'm not giving you $100. Doesn't make any sense. So that's essentially, in a nutshell, what he's claiming Sean Payton is going to do. Which, let's say he's 100% accurate on that. I'm still confused where Zach Wilson fits in this, because if they draft a quarterback, is Zach Wilson going to start? And I don't understand. And like, why do you need Zach Wilson? Like, I'm confused just where Zach Wilson ultimately fits into this project for the Denver Broncos. Does Sean Payton actually see that he can do something with Zach Wilson? I can't make sense of it. I genuinely am confused, because it seems like any quarterback outside of Zach, no matter who you got, some other random team's backup quarterback would be better than Zach Wilson. So why do anything to get Zach Wilson unless you think he actually has potential? And if he has potential, then are you still going to draft a quarterback? So I really don't know. Drafts, I always try to keep this channel as honest as I can. When I'm very confident in opinion, I will plant that flag and tell you all. When I'm like on the fence or wishy-washy, I'm like, I don't know, I let you guys know. And when I just straight up do not know, I will also just say, I have no idea. And this, I genuinely have no idea. I'm trying to figure out, why would Sean Payton want Zach Wilson? And the other thing that is making my head kind of explode is Colin has said that the Broncos need players desperately. They desperately need players, is what he said. And that's why he said, they want to move back, get picks, all this type of stuff. If that's true, which I don't necessarily disagree with, then how could we see Russell Wilson anything but a scapegoat? Like, why did Russell Wilson get all this blame? Are we expecting Russell Wilson then to be able to overcome all of these issues of not good enough players, not good enough defense, not good enough offense, yada, yada, yada? Was he supposed to just magically overcome that? So I don't get it. And was he so terrible that he deserved to be like legitimately run out of Denver and now replaced by Zach Wilson? Are we saying that Zach Wilson is better than Russell Wilson? I mean, I know that's not necessarily what they're explicitly saying, but I'm just confused. Because let's say they keep Zach Wilson, they want Zach Wilson to be the starter, which I just can't make sense of. Unless Sean Payton is truly one of the best offensive-minded coaches. It seems like his reputation now has, I don't want to say taken a hit, but it's lost some of its shine. Before, he was seen as a true top-level coach. Especially before the Shanahans and the McVays got real popular. Like, it was him. He was at the top of being, one of the best, head coaches, especially offensive head coaches in the NFL. And then as over time went on, Drew Brees got older, and then he didn't have Drew Brees, and then McVay rose and Shanahan, and now people are like, well, I don't know. And so I think to a degree the jury's still out, because it's like, okay, well, what, who is Sean Payton? What is he doing? Especially if Drew Brees is that elite and one of the best quarterbacks, which a lot of people believe that Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And it's like, well, then shouldn't he have won more? Which may be true, maybe not, But so if he actually can turn Zach Wilson into a legitimate baller, well, that would be fascinating, obviously. And what does that say then about Russell Wilson? And then also, let's say he does draft one of these quarterbacks that people don't necessarily see as like a top 3, top 4 quarterback, right? Like Drake May or Bo Nix or, some of these other guys who people are seeing as like the true potential. And he does find like a Brock Purdy-esque. Again, make no mistake about it. I'm a fan of Brock Purdy, and I've complimented Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy because of Shanahan and that team. He would be an okay quarterback if he was drafted by the Carolina Panthers, but he would most likely fail more than he succeeds if he was drafted by the Carolina Panthers. I just don't really think that's up for much debate. And for all you mega Brock Purdy fans, I've said that Patrick Mahomes would not have a single Super Bowl if he was drafted by the Carolina Panthers. Not even a Super Bowl appearance, let alone wins. So don't take the criticism too harsh. But the reason why I'm saying that is because Shanahan deserves a tremendous amount of credit. For Brock Purdy's success. So if Sean Payton can win and find a quarterback that, and turn him into a Brock Purdy type level of story, well, that would be fascinating. Then that would show his brilliance. That would show his ability to build a team, get the right pieces, make the players comfortable, put them in positions to succeed, which I've said again and again and again. I don't really see a lot of people on TV mention this, but, arguably the number one job of a coach is to put players in positions for them to succeed. That's to me really ultimately probably the number one thing that a good coach does, is put the player in a position to succeed. Which is what Dan Campbell actually didn't do in the playoffs against the 49ers. He actually did the opposite. He put his players in positions to fail, putting this extra pressure on them rather than making their job a little bit easier. But we're not going to go on a Dan Campbell rant. And in a way, Sean Payton may have failed with Russell Wilson. You could say that he did everything to set Russell Wilson up to succeed, and Russell Wilson just couldn't. But I don't know. You could also make the exact opposite argument. You can make the exact opposite argument that Sean Payton failed to put Russell Wilson in a position to consistently succeed, make him feel comfortable, make him feel like the leader. Because actually before he even got there officially, where he was like, where they met, he was already kind of throwing some shade and hate towards Russell Wilson. And it's like, I could understand if you want to have that conversation with him, behind closed doors, but publicly, I don't know. So Sean Payton, to me, the jury is still out. I think he's definitely a good coach. Would I say that he's definitely a bona fide great / elite coach? I don't know. I think you need more time. You need to see a more longer track record, especially without a QB like Drew Brees. You need to see more levels of success or consistent success or success with different casts and characters, which to a degree we saw with Sean Payton. That's why I think you can't dispute him not being a good coach and obviously a competent coach. But, is he a McVay? Is he a Shanahan level play design genius? I don't know. But we're surely going to find out within the next few years. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think about Sean Payton getting Zach Wilson in the Broncos? And what do you think the Broncos should do? And is Sean Payton really that dude? Let me know in the comments below whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I read every single comment. So let's get in discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.